The name's Lens. To the lens.
You don't have to worry about me.
Greetings to whoever this may concern. Christian Aguilar here, back with another movie review. And in today's movie review, I'm going to be reviewing the 2008 James Bond film, Quantum of Solace. The film stars Olga Kurylenko, Matthew Amalric, Judi Dench, Gemma Arterton, Jeffrey Wright, and of course Daniel Craig as James Bond. Now, the film Quantum of Solace sticks out for being the first Bond movie to actually continue the story that was in the previous movie. So this is technically a direct sequel to Casino Royale. And I believe this is set like a year after Casino Royale, or not even a year, probably like a few months even. So following the death of Vesper Lynd from the first movie, James Bond goes rogue from MI6 to go on this vendetta mission to find the people that blackmailed her into giving up the winnings at the end of the first movie. In his search, this leads him to the ruthless businessman Dominic Green, who is a key player in the organization that blackmailed Vesper, which is known as Quantum. And Quantum is apparently an organization that has a lot of hidden people amongst the CIA, MI6, and a number of other special ops units. And Bond ends up learning that Dominic Green is plotting to gain control of the world's most valuable natural resource, oil. So it is up to a rogue James Bond and a Bolivian Secret Service agent known as Camille Montes to stop Dominic Green's plan and to seek personal vengeance. Now, right off the bat, I remember seeing Quantum of Solace, of course, in theaters when I was younger back in 2008, 2 years after Casino Royale, and there was a lot of hype for this movie. Casino Royale was a smash hit all across the board. Even today, people say Casino Royale is the best Bond film. So when Quantum of Solace was coming out, there was a lot of hype that it needed to live up to. And unfortunately, when it came out, it did not live to it. Now, of course, when I was younger and I saw this in the theaters, I enjoyed it. I remember my dad playing the game on the Wii, and then I remember also playing the game on the Wii, so there's some childhood memories surrounding this movie. However, when rewatching it recently, I am sad to say that a lot of people that said this movie wasn't great are correct. Now, don't get me wrong, this isn't a bad film per se. There's a bunch of things to enjoy in this movie. However, at the same time, there's a number of questionable things in here that I kind of wish they did differently. Now, for starters, what sticks out for me is the fact that this movie feels long. Like, it's surprising to know that Casino Royale is technically 40 minutes longer than Quantum of Solace, because to me, Quantum of Solace feels longer than Casino Royale. I felt like there was a lot of downtime in this movie that didn't really push the plot forward. Like, the whole scene with Renee Mantis and James Bond coming back together and talking to each other and kind of like making amends, it kind of felt rushed. Especially if this movie is supposed to be set so close to the events of Casino Royale. Because at the end of Casino Royale, we see Bond basically arrest Mantis. Like, he basically gives him up and has him incarcerated. And he did it pretty ruthlessly. He gave him a cold shoulder afterwards. So it was kind of weird to see that Bond would return to a character and kind of accept him and welcome him with open arms. And vice versa too. It seemed like Mantis didn't really have that much vendetta against Bond. However, Mantis was technically a loyal ally to Bond because Mantis wasn't part of Quantum. And that was something I did kind of enjoy the movie playing with towards the beginning of the film, was that Quantum has agents spread out everywhere, so you don't know who's who. Like, you don't know if your best colleague is going to be a Quantum agent, and they're going to turn on you in a blink of an eye. So with that whole it's hard to know who to trust, I can see how Mantis would be like a close ally to Bond, because Mantis wasn't a part of Quantum, and Bond could trust him during this time of need. And when it comes to the whole Quantum has agents everywhere, I kind of wish that one MI6 agent from the first movie, Casino Royale, he was that one agent that was played by Tobias Menzies. Apologize if I'm getting the name wrong, but he was the same actor that was in the show Outlander. I felt like his character from the first movie should have made a return in this one, and he should have been the agent that was actually working for Quantum. If we see an MI6 agent who was an ally all throughout the first movie end up being like a secret rogue agent in the second movie and, end up betraying MI6, I think that would have been a little more impactful. However, we have some random MI6 agent that ends up turning on M and Bond. And my question is, when that agent did reveal himself during the whole interrogation scene in the beginning of the movie, when he revealed himself to be an agent of Quantum, Why didn't he shoot Bond? Like, I'm sure Bond's the main character, and Bond got a lot of plot armor on him, but I just don't understand why, if he would have whipped out his gun and turned to either, like, Judi Dench's M or Bond himself, and not aim for the chest and go for a headshot, I think he would have been a little more successful. But that's not how the movie played out, and he just loves going for body shots. I've noticed that a lot too. Like, hardly anyone goes for any headshots in these movies. It's pretty funny. I feel like realistically, if that dude was to present himself as the betrayer, he would take out Bond first. Like, if I was in that dude's place, I would take out Bond first, you know, MI6 best agent. Probably, you know, aim the gun at him first, not take out some random other agent. But regardless, I do like the idea that they were toying with there. And another thing that really sticks out to me when it comes to negatives for this film is the Bond villain himself. I mean, nothing against the actor. He did well with what he had to work with. But I just felt that Dominic Green as a character was just not interesting. Like, like there was nothing really memorable about him, other than the fact that he tried using like an axe at the end fight between Bond and him, and then he ends up fucking axing his own foot by mistake. I mean, that's the only memorable thing about him, and that's not really a badass thing to be remembering about a character. This villain just did not feel intimidating. I'll be honest with you, like, I just did not feel like, ooh, I felt like I could take on that dude. you know, every other Bond villain, I'm like, you know, James Bond got it, he can take on that villain, he's a tough dude. But when it comes to Dominic Green, I feel like anyone can take him on. Like, you know, it's just, yeah, I wish he was just a little more memorable by being a little more intimidating. I did like some of the old James Bond references, like the major one, the woman being covered all in oil. Great callback to the woman being covered all in gold and Goldfinger. It's funny because I remember seeing Quantum of Solace when it came out, and during that time I didn't see Goldfinger. However, as a kid, I don't remember the woman in the oil. I don't remember that scene, and then I saw Goldfinger, and I thought that was really cool in Goldfinger. I mean, who doesn't think that's really cool in Goldfinger? So when I figured out that they did an homage to it in Quantum of Solace, I was personally surprised, because I hadn't seen this movie in a long time. I'm like, wow, they did a Goldfinger homage? That's pretty cool. Some people might not like it, some people think it's, you know, too cheap or cheesy, but I personally like it. I thought it was a nice touch and a nice callback to a classic Bond film. And of course, the woman covered in said oil is of course Gemma Arterton, who plays Strawberry Fields in the movie. I don't have a problem with Camille being the Bond girl throughout the whole movie. I'll get to her in a second. But I did really love Gemma Arterton as Fields. They never call her Strawberry Fields in the movie, I don't think, but her credits for the film, her character name is Strawberry Fields. I personally enjoyed her appearance in this movie, so much so that I kind of wish she was in it for a bit longer. It's kind of crazy I sit back and think about it, because I love the decision to have this actress in the movie. However, she's not in it for long, and she doesn't have a lot to do. All she does is trip one of Dominic Green's henchmen down the stairs to prevent him from following Bond and Camille, and she ends up not giving away Bond's location in the end. So she played her role, but I feel like she could have played a bigger role somehow, some way, you know? And I would have loved to see a whole James Bond movie where she was the main Bond girl. I think she would have been a cool Bond girl to follow from beginning to end. But when it comes to the character of Camille, I thought this was a very interesting Bond girl. Not interesting like Vesper Lynd, but interesting in a way where it's like, they don't have any chemistry. Like, they don't hook up in this movie. I think this might be one of the first times a Bond girl doesn't really hook up with James Bond that much. Like, they have one kiss scene at the end where everything's all said and done, and even during that kiss scene, they're like, no, we don't feel anything for each other, let's go our separate ways, you know, like, we've got our revenge, and now we, you know, go off on our own path. And I thought that was really interesting to not really have the Bond girl for a Bond film be the love interest, per se. It felt very much like they were partners on a revenge mission, and I think that's pretty interesting, and I'm here or there whether or not that was like a positive for the film or not. I mean, there's nothing wrong about having a kick-ass, badass female partner, which I'm going to get to in the sequels, Moneypenny. But I felt like it was very interesting to make the main Bond girl just like not a love interest. It was a unique approach, in my opinion. One thing I do admire about this film is its fight scenes. A lot of fun fight scenes. I mean, the movie opens up with an awesome car chase scene that just really amps up the viewer for the adventure to come. But of course, sadly, it sucks to say that level of energy doesn't carry throughout the whole movie. Of course, there are those slow moments where the plot kind of takes a moment and it just comes to a standstill, honestly, and it felt kind of weird and it felt kind of off. And that's what made me feel like this movie was longer than Casino Royale, when Casino Royale is actually 40 minutes longer. But the fight scenes are really, really awesome. I love the fight scene with the ropes when they're in the building that's being like renovated and all the scaffoldings in there. I love how they're just swinging back and forth and kicking each other's ass, and of course that whole suspenseful moment that's like, who's gonna reach the gun first, you know, who's gonna reach their own separate gun respectfully first in order to shoot their opponent. And of course we know Bond is the winner in the end. And one final thing about this film that I did not really enjoy was the whole thing with Vesper having a boyfriend. I did not like that whole thing, and I guess that's apparently why she decided to give the winnings over to Quantum, because they were holding her boyfriend captive. But we figure out at the end, you know, when Bond finally meets him in the movie, it doesn't really conclude to anything, you know? There's not even a kill. You know, he confronts him and then there's just like, okay, I'm over it. You know, it's like Bond made his peace with it, but I felt like it could have been played out way more. And plus, the dude wasn't even in the majority of the movie, so I feel like maybe Vesper's boyfriend should have been the Bond villain in this movie, and they should have centered a more solid plot around that character, rather than just have him mentioned briefly in the beginning and we don't see him until like the very end of the movie, and then there's hardly a conclusion, in my opinion. And so I felt like it was just a waste of time. But now Bond is over the death of Vesper, and now he can be that badass super spy that we all know and love him to be. So with all that being said, I have to give Quantum of Solace, I'm gonna have to give this a solid 3 out of 5 Skarsgårds. It's not a bad film whatsoever. There's things to enjoy here. Fun action scenes, great acting. I don't think there's a weak performance in this movie. Everyone does great with what they're given. And an interesting dynamic with the Bond girl. The Bond girl is not the love interest. She's more of a partner in this movie. So that is it for today. Thank you so much for reaching to the end of this video. Have you seen Quantum of Solace? What did you think of it? Let me know down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to support this little side hobby I am doing. I'm going to try and review both Skyfall and Spectre before I go and see No Time to Die, so wish me luck on doing that. Friendly reminder, the rendered image every Thursday and Sunday nights, 8:30 p.m. live on YouTube. It's a show I co-host with my friends Tyler and Shannon. We go over all the latest movie news, updates, and trailers, so be sure to head over there, subscribe, turn on the notification button so you know whenever we go live. I hope you're all safe and well out there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.